Griselbrand versus Yawgmoth Thran Physician. No ramp there whatsoever, but maybe we can make use of Liliana's Triumph. We've got some card draw. Yeah, we'll just hope that we draw into some ramp here. We're on the draw at least. Alright, we get into a Wasteland, which is just even more mana for us. And we're up against a friend of the channel, by the way, Okenrad, playing Yawgmoth, and they've told me that they've just watched one of my videos, so clearly a friend of the channel. We draw into Necropotence, so I think getting down, well, let's get down the Night's Whisper actually, because that might dictate whether we go for Necropotence or not. And there's an Emrakul. I don't think I really care about keeping hold of Emrakul, to be honest. No, we'll just discard that. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have Reanimate. It is a Phyrexian Arena from our opponent, and no longer a friend of the channel for running a white bordered card. Let's get another Swamp going, and we'll go for Lightning Greaves and Inquisition. I want to have a look at my opponent's hand before we decide anything else. Go for the Inquisition first, because we might want to hold up Liliana's Triumph. There's Iara and Black Market. Well, Iara can go. And we're not going to do anything with Liliana's Triumph unless they go in for their Commander, but then we can go for the Triumph in response to that anyway. Just deciding to Windmill Slam Yawgmoth. They've nothing to do with Yawgmoth, so I don't really mind that. Let's wait for our opponent to do something, and then we can go for the Triumph in response to whatever they might do. Yeah, we'll just go for that, I think. A Dark Ritual from our opponent, followed by the Black Market. Yeah, the Yawgmoth actually isn't going to die, is it? So we don't need to worry about that just yet. And then a Butcher Ghoul, so now we can go for Liliana's Triumph. Yawgmoth sacrificing itself and going to the graveyard. Butcher Ghoul comes down. They will be able to get Yawgmoth out again next turn. Alright, him to Torak for us. Let's just go for Temple of the False God. And we're on 4, 5, 6 and 7 next turn. What cards did we already know about? Yeah, they played everything that we knew about here, so let's go for him to Torak. And we get rid of, Skull Clamp is really good to get rid of. And Smothering Abomination isn't bad either. Unfortunately, we've drawn into quite a few of the colourless creating cards. So couldn't get down Necropotence there. The Undying Creature comes in. And Yawgmoth now has some sack fodder. We'll go in with Necropotence here, just drawing into all of our colourless lands. Yeah, not having too much luck here. We'll go Wasteland. And I've just realised actually, even if our opponent does have some Reanimate for our Emrakul, we've got Homeward Path anyway. Put 6 into Necropotence, and we'll craft a little bit of a hand there. Then our opponent, in response, deciding to sacrifice the Butcher Ghoul to draw a card and get some mana with Black Market next turn. And going for it again. So they have 3 cards in hand. They'll go up to 5 next turn thanks to Phyrexian Arena. We've got Lake of the Dead. Do we want that Solemn? Let's just get rid of a swamp here. I'm hopeful that we will draw into more swamps as the game progresses. Aetherflux Reservoir, we're not going to do anything about that in this deck. So we'll just have to hope our opponent doesn't assemble a combo too quickly. If they decide to tap out here, it wouldn't be the worst. Well, they've gotten into Sol Ring and Mana Vault. Easy way to gain some life here. And then going for Genesis Chamber, which Yawgmoth very much likes. We'll see if they've got a creature to play off the back of Genesis Chamber. They do not. They do have a Lightning Greaves though. So that switches off our Obnixilis. At least they've revealed all the cards in their hand, so we know it's safe to go in for Griselbrand. So in this case, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, we won't go for Field, well not Field of the Dead, Lake of the Dead just yet. We'll go in for Griselbrand while the going's safe. We get a Genesis Chamber, that's good for some chump blocks. Put the Lightning Greaves onto our Commander. And then we'll swing in at our opponent. We win on Commander damage faster than they do. And then we might as well just put a single life into Necropotence. We might go for another 7 cards at the end of our opponent's turn, depending on what occurs. Deciding to untap the Mana Vault. And then some mana from Black Market. They've got 2 cards in hand, plenty of mana to do pretty much anything they want as far as I can see. And there is Abyssal Persecutor. That is Flying and Trample. You can't win, your opponents can't lose. Well, that's just a blocker for Griselbrand by the looks of it. They might want to put the Lightning Greaves onto that. But they've got a good card draw engine now. As long as they can keep getting into creatures, the Genesis Chamber will keep getting them into tokens to sack to Yawgmoth. They're deciding to put a minus counter on the Mirror. They might as well do that. And they're just getting a whole bunch of counters onto Black Market now. Then deciding to leave the Abyssal Persecutor untapped. And we're just hoping that they don't put Lightning Greaves onto that. And they do not, so let's go for 7 cards being drawn here. And we've got the Cabal Coffers, which is really good. The O-Stone, if we're desperate, isn't bad either. So let's drop Cabal Coffers, and we'll put the Temple Mana into that. Then go in for Obnixilis. Destroy the Abyssal Persecutor. And they sack that in response with Yawgmoth, as you would expect. But this means that we can get our Griselbrand through. So we'll swing in with our Commander. And it's only one more hit our opponent needs to take. It doesn't matter how much life they gain. And they can't put any minus counters on our Commander unless they can get rid of the Greaves. Let's drop the Arcane Signet and the Thran Dynamo. And we'll take our opponent by surprise with Oblivion Stone, so let's just drop in Solemn Simulacrum as a chump blocker. And we'll obviously get some ramp with Solemn as well. And then drop the Lion's Eye Diamond so that we don't have to discard as many cards. And then I don't think we're going to be making use of Lake of the Dead, so let's get rid of that, I think. Yeah, that's fine. So our opponent's not out of it yet. They need to be able to either wipe the board or get into a flyer to chump block Griselbrand. I don't know how many flyers Yawgmoth has. Unless they can just go in for a huge Exsanguinate here. Or the, what's the other one? Torment of Hailfire, that's the one. So let's see here. We can lose 3 life, sack an online permanent, or discard a card. Well, I think we're fairly safe to sacrifice Necropotence and the Lion's Eye Diamond and the Solemn. Then we'll discard Command Beacon, Homeward Path. The Expedition map I think is fine. And then how much more have we got? 8 more, which is 24, so I think... yeah, we'll just sacrifice the Arcane Signet as well. Then we'll lose 3 life a few times. Get rid of Noxious Gearhulk as well. I want to have enough life to actually put into Griselbrand. So yeah, let's just get rid of Damnation as well. And then 1 more, we'll get rid of the Swamp. Oh, and 1 more after that. So let's get rid of Thran Dynamo as well. Okay, so managing to survive a Torment of Hailfire. And then we'll draw off Solemn because we sacrificed that. We get into another rock. And luckily our opponent didn't get into a creature to kill off the Mir, so they're just leaving the Yawgmoth back. And I think all we have to do here is swing in at our opponent. And we end up winning this one on commander damage. Alright, so managing to win out against Yawgmoth and our friend of the channel. Big thank you to them for playing with us. That's a very capable Yawgmoth deck that they've put together. They were just unlucky in not getting into enough creatures there. Had they've gotten into a few more creatures, they would have had a lot more sack fodder from Genesis Chamber. And it could easily have gone the other way, I think. The Lightning Greaves probably really saved us there. We could get to a nice round 21 points of commander damage across 3 turns because Yawgmoth couldn't put minus counters onto our Griselbrand. So yeah, Lightning Greaves doing good work for both players here because we couldn't use our spot removal either. Hopefully you all enjoyed that mono black head to head. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.